Hey, what's up guys, Andy here, and today we're reviewing over Black Clover episode 113, titled Storming the Shadow Palace. This episode was on point. Alright, so every little thing in this episode was hype, goosebumps, or just awesome. I don't agree with the very end part, then again, I get it 100% why they had to do it. But with that being said, this episode was just so good. We started off with a long, lighthearted little banter thing, which really helped the episode because the latter half was just nothing but intense fight. So, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it 100%. I think this is one of the better episodes. The animation was also on point this episode, which everything just correlated perfectly. They entered the Shadow Palace here, and we didn't get to see too much of everybody, but I feel like next week we're going to get to see a lot more, and it kind of really showed on what level Vermillions and Vermillions are. So, like, it was just intense the whole way through, and it was awesome. I loved it. But with that being said, let's jump right into this review.
They say you don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here. And no, I don't wanna be alone in the world out there.
So we start the episode off with an extended recap of what happened in the previous episodes, and, you know, it was perfectly fine. We get it every week. We cut into our intro and title card, Storming the Shadow Palace. Yeah, this was spot-on naming. We cut into Ravechi, and I can't remember the Purple Orca's former captain name, but they're sitting there looking, and we find out that the Shadow Palace has great treasures and powerful magic items that from history. It's like kind of a myth. We then cut over to the lighthearted banter that I was talking about. Noelle and Mimosa get pissed here because Sally's all like, I was promised that I can do whatever I want with his body after the battle as long as I use anesthesia. And then Luck stands up and he senses some danger and two elves attack him and they just get demolished. Vermillions and Vermillions, which really they focus on heavy this episode, came out of nowhere and just wrecked these two elves. They see that the Shadow Palace is closing up, so they have to hurry, so they're just kind of like determining what they're going to do next here, and that's when basically the Black Bulls step up and they're like, alright, we got this, we'll do this. And they sit there and they're like, us Black Bulls will take care of them, you captains go on ahead, and Asta, Mimosa, and Noelle, you go with the captains. So that was a really cool moment, but then we cut into them actually entering the palace. They're all split up, and they all have to fight before they can meet up in the middle, well, the top, kind of, because that's where Licht is. So they all have to fight to meet up where they need to be, and then we see what their matchups are basically going to be. Asta ended up with Mimosa, and they found Rill, or Lyra, whatever you want to call them. I call them Rill because it's just easier for me. We then cut over to Noelle, who is by herself. She's got to fight Fauna, which Fauna no longer has the flame spirit, but that's still going to be an extraordinarily hard fight for her, just, you know, off the cuff. We cut over to Vermillions, who's going to be fighting Veto, and these two have a very cool exchange here, because, like, during their whole fight, they're, like, just complimenting each other, like, oh, you're really strong, brat, I've never had a one-on-one in a long time like this, or, you know, stuff like that. We find out that Vermillions is fighting Lord Kaiser, the ultimate shield. Like, none of his magic can penetrate this guy, can't get close to him, nothing. So, we cut into a little bit of a flashback of Vermillions and Vermillions' upbringing here. And basically, their whole life, she was leaps and bounds ahead of him. And he couldn't catch up even as hard as he trained, and she didn't train at all. So he was kind of upset by that a little bit, but then it just goes back to the point, you know, you gotta train to get stronger. And when they were both older, she was about to get her grimoire, he's like, you're not joining the Magic Knights? And she's like, no, I'm gonna go search magic places. And their fight became known as the Tuesday of Blood and Flames because they went all out on each other just one time. So that was really cool to see. But then we cut into, like, the more part that I don't agree with, and basically they just come back and they're like, he is worthy of being the strongest, and they just one-shot their opponents here. Which, I get it, they have to do that, but like, Veto is kind of like one of the big guys, you know, and Lord Kaiser didn't seem like no pushover himself. I mean, he was the captain of the Purple Orcas, and he's the ultimate shield, but they beat him. They kicked their ass. So, I don't know. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I just thought it could have been executed a little bit better. But with that being said, I guess they're kind of pushing for time, so I get it 100%. With that being said, though, guys, I'm going to go ahead and head out. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace out.
This is all I